NATO's all packed up to go camping. I've got 3 nights of camping, and while I'm camping, I'm going bow hunting for deer. It'll be the first bow hunting trip for 2020, and I'm going to spend the most part of it hunting out of my tree stand because it's just so hot this time of year. I sweat like crazy when I'm walking around in the bush, so sitting up in a tree and relaxing and hoping a deer walks past me is a pretty cool way to hunt this time of year. I've got an hour and a half's drive in the truck, which will get me to a beautiful piece of private land. And this private land also boundaries a massive block of public land, making it an awesome hunting destination. On the way in, I'm going to stop, go and set my tree stand up in a tree that I pre-rigged a few months ago. And I've got a trail camera there that I want to pull and see if there's any deer walking past that tree. From there, we'll go find the campsite, set up a tent, and then I'm going to head out onto the public land on a reconnaissance mission. Right at the end of the roar last year, I found a massive fallow buck scrape. Antler damage everywhere. It just stunk of big buck. I spent the next 3 days in a row hunting that area, and I spooked does and seen spikers, but I never actually seen the big buck. But ever since then, that spot has been rolling around in my head. How do I sneak in there? What do I do? How do I get this big buck? And the best thing I can come up with is setting a tree stand up of his scrape and just spending hours and days and weeks and even months, if that's what it takes, to get that buck in front of me so I can get a shot at him. So today's mission is just to walk in there and set up a tree ready to tree stand hunt it in a couple of months' time. I don't even have the bow with me today. Just a pair of secateurs, a little saw to clear a couple of shooting lanes. I might have to lop a couple of branches off the tree that I set my tree stand up in. But yeah, today is about rigging a tree ready to shank a buck in the coming months. This is my spot. Little bit of old pork damage, but right here's the scrape that I found. This whole area was smashed up, stunk of buck, and right here that was all scraped up. Looks like it's still getting scraped up, and it's January, but all of these ferns were all smashed to pieces, all ripped to bits. So ideally I want to be sitting in a tree where I can see this, but I don't think I'm going to get that. I think I'm going to end up sitting on the trails that he uses to come in and out of here, back down in the bush a bit. It's a whole lot thicker than I remembered it. In my head there were trees everywhere that was perfect for a tree stand, and I can't find one. Well, that's it right there. That's going to be the view from my tree stand. The rut's actually in behind that shit there, but I can see it and see him if he's there. I won't have a shot, but I'll be able to see him. But the second he walks out onto that gap, or if he comes from that way and comes through this way to get to his rut, then NATO's going to shoot him right there. That's the plan. Mr. Buck Buckerson's going to be on his pad, and he's going to be like... And then he's going to walk along here, go looking for some girls. He's going to jump over this tree right here, and then he's going to hear me, and he's going to look, and NATO's going to be sitting in the tree right there. All these antler rubbings were fresh as when I was here in the roar, and I reckon it's the same buck making these antler rubbings that's making that scrape. And I've got my trail camera set up right here, so hopefully I can get him on camera coming down in here and making some sign, but the rut is up in there where I'm going to hunt him. Had some issues with a peanut butter thief last time I was here, but it'll be the peanut butter thief that'll have issues this time I'm here. Well, that didn't take long. NATO's first kill for 2020. I'd only just got to bed. Little shitbag. Good morning time. I set up that tree stand spot about 2 months ago, and when I set it up, I left my trail camera there. And I've just gone through my trail camera, and I've got heaps of deer. I've got does with fawns, and yeah, I'm not shooting does this time of year, but I've got yearlings going past that tree. I've got spikers going past that tree. They're going past at different times of the day. They're going past for like 4 or 5 days in a row, and then I've got a few days of no deer going past. To say that I am excited now is an understatement. I'm super excited to get down there and get up in that tree. So just going to finish my breakfast, get geared up. I've got about a 25-minute walk to get down there, get up in the tree, chuck a heap of nice warm clothes on, and we'll sit back and wait. Red sky in the morning. Good hunting. Or the shepherds could be saying there's rain coming. One of the two. It is a super calm day today. And I love tree stand hunting on calm days. You can hear the deer coming. Or in some cases you can hear them and you can't see them. And that's really exciting stuff. I love it. And on a day like today, stalking through the bush when it's like cornflakes under your feet and it's super quiet and there's no wind, it can get near on impossible sometimes. So hunting in the tree stand on calm days and walking around in the bush on a windy and a rainy day is kind of about as good as my plans get. I'm just hoping that whatever wind there is today is in my favour, because even though I say there's no wind, there's always wind going somewhere. It's just gone 11 o'clock. It has been deathly quiet all morning. I've heard rabbits and pheasants coming from like 40 metres away. The wind's just picked up a little bit, and you'll be happy to know that it's in NATO's favour. All of that trail camera footage, a lot of it was at lunchtime, right on 12 o'clock, between 12 and 1 o'clock, so fingers crossed that's going to be prime time and NATO's going to get a shot. That was so cool. I seen 2 deer down here walking through the bush. I just caught glimpses of them, bits and pieces. They walked across right in front of me, walked around up, and then they were over here just chilling out, milling around, I don't know what, for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then that big doe jumped over the fence. Hardly made a sound when she did it, but she jumped over. I could see her just through the trees. Walked right over my ground scent where I walked in this morning and where I walked in and out yesterday. That didn't seem to bother her. Walked right around in, directly downwind of me, started milling around, picking up leaves off the ground, eating leaves and stuff, and then she came directly into the tree that I'm in, directly downwind. She obviously couldn't smell me, but I think she might have been able to smell my climbing sticks on the tree, or the strap that I put around my tree stand on the ground, or something, because she kind of had her nose in the air, and Not quite sure. Anyway, she was 5 meters from the base of my tree, eating a leaf that she picked up off the ground. It was so epic. Close encounters are just the coolest thing ever. I've got the biggest smile on my face, and it doesn't matter what happens over the next 3 days. That, to me, is success. She was a big, big mature doe. I almost think she's still pregnant, but being, what are we now, like the 8th of January, she should have dropped her fawn by now. But either which way, it doesn't bother me. I ain't shooting does this time of year in fear of them having fawns somewhere and that fawn then being orphaned, or worse, NATO starves it to death. Well, that's it. I've been sitting in this tree stand for 12 hours. Yep, 12 hours. I've had enough. I'm going back to camp, and I'm going to get up tomorrow and do it all again. I'd love to get a digger, a tractor and a big trailer and pull that stump that tree's growing out of the ground, stick it on the trailer and take it home and put it in my garden, because it is just cool. I should really stock up on my wind detecting devices. Yep, they'll work. I did it, I'm back at camp. What a cool day. Awesome day. Had a doe at 5 meters. Turns out she did have a fawn, and the fawn, when the doe jumped the fence, the fawn was left on the other side of the fence. I seen the fawn toddle off down the hill about 2 hours after I seen the doe, so. Nato's taking the long way around this morning, using the driveway to get to his spot. It rained last night and the grass is wet, and grass in places here at the moment is over knee height. Knee height, wet grass equals Nato's got wet socks, wet shoes and wet pants sitting in a tree stand for 12 hours. Nah, I'm taking the long way. There's a deer in the paddock. I don't often get to see deer in the paddock. Not here anyway. I spooked another deer on the way in, and I reckon it run past that pheasant. He's been crowing, and then he just took off. Doesn't worry me, I'm all set up in the tree, ready to go. Bring it on. The wind's a little bit against me today, but that doe came in directly downwind yesterday, so it ain't gonna scare me out of the tree, put it that way. It's just gone 11 o'clock and the wind's picked up quite a bit, and it's just swirling around everywhere. It's a little bit painful, and I was starting to think it wasn't going to happen. And then I heard crunch crunch, and I looked down and there was a pheasant down there. So I thought, oh cool, I'll film the pheasant. I tried to zoom in on the pheasant and it ran off, and I was like, oh okay. And then I heard crunch crunch again, and I was like, well hang on a minute, if the pheasant didn't make that noise, what did? And I shit you not, I looked down here, right down there, and there's a yearling standing there. It got to within 3 meters of the base of my tree without me hearing a sound. It was behind me the whole time, so I couldn't get a shot at it. And then it slowly toddled off that way too, so I got to within 3 meters of yearling, and I couldn't get a shot at it. NATO just needs a little bit of luck and this is all going to come together. That pheasant doesn't like it when deer walks past them. Keeps crowing at them. That'll be the yearling that's gone around that way. Hopefully it doesn't go too far and it comes back this way. I just seen a doe and a fawn, and I reckon it was the same doe, the chocolate doe that was out in the paddock this morning. Her fawn got to within 10 metres of me, but I was too slow and useless to capture it on film. And then the doe, I think, got my ground scent, got wary, backed off and jumped over the fence, the same place the doe jumped over the fence yesterday, and the fawn went straight through the fence. It's just gone 6:30 and I'm about had it. Another 12-hour day sitting in a tree. Sitting in a tree for 12 hours sounds crazy even to me, but I absolutely love it. I've seen 3 deer out of my tree stand today, and I seen 2 deer out of the tree stand yesterday, and even if I wanted to be NATO the fawn killer, I couldn't have shot at one of them. They've all been behind me when my trail camera showed all the action down in front of me. What do you do, man? What do you do? You come back and do it all again tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. And I always seem to have last day success. So, fingers crossed, last day success is coming NATO's way once more. All that's left to do now is to head back to camp and watch the sun go down. It is such a beautiful place. I had great intentions of being in my tree much earlier than right now, but NATO was at camp drinking too much coffee once again. It's a lot more wind today than there has been the last couple of days. Don't know whether that's a good thing or not, but it's definitely a thing. But right now, I'm about 5 minutes away from my tree. We'll get up there, put in another 12-hour shift. Actually, no, I'm not going to put in another 12-hour shift. I'm going to shank a deer, a beautiful fat spike at about 10 o'clock this morning. I've already thanked the universe for that very thing. Here we go. Every day at about 10:20 the sun comes beaming through a hole in the trees up there and warms me up. I even had to take my beanie off. That's pretty good, eh? It's 3 o'clock and I haven't seen a deer, heard a deer, nothing. Gonna sit here till 6 o'clock and then I'll be back to camp, pack up and home time. On the bright side, it's been a hell of a lot warmer today. I don't have my jacket on, I don't have my beanie on. Didn't help me get a deer though, did it? Well, that's that. I've had enough of sitting in the tree. Pulled the pin a little bit early. I've probably put 25 days into tree stand hunting on this property, and up until 2 days ago I'd never even seen a deer out of my tree stand, so I am getting better. And when I think back to when I first started tree stand hunting here and the trees that I was setting my tree stand up in, I'd never set my tree stand up in those trees now. So I guess I'm learning and I'm moving forward and I'm getting better theories and all that sort of stuff, so that'll be the silver lining, so to speak. Anyway, awesome couple of days. Having deer within 10 meters and within 3 meters that don't even know you're there and they're completely oblivious, that in itself is awesome. And to be fair, I wasn't even going to do that much hunting. The only thing I really wanted to achieve in the 3 days that I was here was to get out the back on the public land and set up a tree over a big rut scrape that I'd found, so it's all ready for the raw. And I don't have to go in there in the raw and put a heap of my scent down, getting my tree ready. But after seeing all those videos of deer on the trail camera, I've ended up sitting in this tree for like 30 hours, 35 hours in the last 3 days. Nato's a bit crazy. Yep. But he loves it. He's got a smile on his face and that's all that matters. Going to carry my tree stand, my clothes and all my gear up to the fence, and I'll pick them up with the truck on the way out. Other than that, it's time to go into ninja mode and see if I can get a deer the old-fashioned way. That's pretty cool. Inside that web is a billion, probably not a billion, but a whole shit ton of little spiders and one big spider protecting them all. From what, I don't know. What are you going to do, mister? What are you going to do if a bird comes along and wants to eat you, man? The fences on this farm kill more deer than I do. That's bad, eh? I'm supposed to be a hunter. Well, I'm now a sweaty mess, and I'm glad that I was sitting in that tree for the last 3 days, because it's just uncomfortable, man. Now all I got to do is pack up my tent, get all my gear in the truck, and I'm out of here. It is just typical. There it is right there. Exactly what I've been wanting for the last 3 days. A spiker, and a lopsided spiker at that. The perfect animal to take. I've been thanking the universe for that exact thing, to get in bow range of exactly that, and I got it. Only I got it while I was driving in the car on the way home. Go figure. Holy crap, that's a big fence, and he just jumped completely over it.